You told me a story that I have actually told a couple times since you told it to me when we sat on the NFL Network set talking about the top 10 players and revealed the top 100 final 10. TJ, this is for you, sir.
Oh, yes.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
You saw him. You went to Cowboys camp. You saw him do his thing. And then I want to talk about what he did afterwards with you. But tell me what you saw from Micah Parsons on that practice field in Oxnard, California, Andrew.
I think what's so refreshing about Mike, and I think we touched on this in the offseason, is just his passion for getting better. I mean, how much he talks about that 1%, about being different than everyone else. I think this week he talked about he wants to be one of the best in the Hall of Fame, not just in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's really his mentality, and to watch him practice every rep, he is just destroying every play. It's almost to the point where, the coaches make jokes like, would it be better to not have him in there in plays, because just at least we could have like a productive football play and get to see if a play works or not, because he's jumping the counts, he's beating guys so early that some plays don't even get a chance to progress through their natural progression of a football snap. And so he's just wrecking shop, and he's excited, and you see it every play. There's just an energy that's different.
So they joke about it, or they actually did occasionally take him off
I think
the
they
field?
do. I mean, and I that's why I asked him that on our show, is that he's one of those guys. Aaron Donald was much the same way. That it's like sometimes you're like, hey, giving him a couple reps every now and then, or trying to get him off the field for a minute, kind of gives us a chance to see what other guys can do, and then also have just productive offensive plays that we want to get off. And so there's always going to be that battle when you're that good of a player and you're that dominant of, what people wanting to give you a little break, take you off the field some, for you and also for the team at times. But I think he's always going to battle it, and he's one of those guys, man, competing is his thing, and that's all he wants to do.
Did you ever in a Rams practice go up to Aaron Donald and just say, hey, vet here, can you just dial it down a little bit, because we need to work on a couple things here?
Honestly, here's the problem. AD is he's a absolute terror. He's a monster in a football game, but he's also a sweetheart. And it's really, honestly, Rich, what made me realize my career was coming to an end, because he was so gentle with me. If we ever ended up over each other, he didn't just annihilate me. He kind of just, slowly would move me back towards the quarterback, and then kind of, conveniently pull off a little bit. So he was very gentle with me, and I used to say he was intimidated by me. That's what it was. But I clearly know he didn't want to hurt me. That's what it was.
So why did you take that as an indication that Father Time was finally tapping you on the shoulder?
I would say I looked like enough of an old man that he was like, you know what? I don't want to hurt Big Brother or Big Uncle or Grandpa. I think that's more closer to Grandpa. But I think he'd have felt bad hurting the old man, the old statesman.
And you see some of that in Micah Parsons when you're actually watching the Cowboys practice.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now Micah's in that young mode of I'm destroying everybody, and so I think those guys, I'm sure in the offensive line, don't really love having to go against him every day, just because he is that guy. Like, he is trying to compete to win every snap because he's young and he's got to prove himself.
And then what happened after practice?
Then he came up to me and, gave me a big hug and kind of, wanted me to kind of talk to some of the guys and stuff. And then I said, hey, you know what? I'm off tomorrow. What you doing? And I said, well, I live like 30 minutes from here. And he said, I'm coming over. So I said, all right, perfect. He's coming over. So I called him still on the way home, like, hey, babe, you know what? Micah's coming over tomorrow with us and the kids, and it's going to be a fun day.
And what can you want to share? What was going on? Like, what is Micah like when he's coming by the Whitworths? What is that like? He was
great, man. We hung out. Kids got in the pool, grilled out a little bit, and had some good food. But, I was telling last night, we have, our Amazon seminar going right now, and
yes,
the league officials and all that were there, and so we had a little dinner, and I was telling them, like, cool NFL moment, of just the family, the brotherhood that we are.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, who's 12, massive Taylor Swift fan, loves to sing. She's in a singing group, kind of brings it up at the dinner table, and he's like, I want to hear it. And she looks at me like, Dad, do I really have to sing right here in front of him? And I was like, you got to sing in front of Micah. This is pressure, babe. If you want to sing, you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on my phone, play her a song. She sings in front of him. He stands up. She's standing at the kitchen island singing, and he's like doing his arms, dancing in front of her, like encouraging her. And I was just sitting there like, we're not documenting this, but like, what an NFL family moment. Here's this young star who's at my house watching my daughter sing, encouraging her, cheering her on, smile on his face. It was just a cool moment.
Well, and in all seriousness, and this is not painting folks with a brush, but I mean, he's a young kid in Southern California on an off day.
Yeah.
And he's with the Whitworths hanging out at a dinner with kids and conducting, a little girl's singing of Taylor Swift. I mean, that's a choice, but it's wonderful that he's doing that. You know what I mean? Like some other guys might just say, "Screw it, I'm going into town and I'll hoot with the Owls." But it's tough to soar with the Eagles, as Rod Woodson said. Yeah. He always heard from Chuck Noll. So how good do you think the Cowboys can be? Let's just put this right on the head.
Yeah, I think so. You look at that division, it's going to be really tough. I mean, I think that, obviously the Giants have done things to get better. The Eagles are going to be really special again. I think the Commanders are going to be interesting as well.
Okay. Now, look, you have a very deep voice, but did you hear, was that a higher register from Andrew Whitworth?
It was. Right I think it's interesting.
No,
hold on. He just went there.
It was a little higher.
Okay. So we here at the Rich Eisen Show say you've got to go higher register to believe something that you're saying, like, I got to look out for the Commanders, like that sort of. You didn't say that about the Eagles. You went like the Eagles are going to be good.
I kind of think that it's obvious the Eagles ought to be pretty good.
Okay,
but I think the Cowboys. Yeah, I look at it. You know what? Defensively, you got some young stars. They're getting better, and then offensively, hopefully you get Zach Martin back, and you still have a good offensive line and their health. And think if Tyron Smith stays healthy, you know what? Dak Prescott's always played really well when he's had that guy in the lineup and had the safety and security of being able to play the quarterback position without getting hit. And he makes them that much better because then you move the young kid inside. So I think offensive line-wise, they're better. And I'm interested to see how Mike McCarthy takes over the reins and how this team looks differently offensively.
What's the question there? What's the question about that?
Well, I just think with Kellen Moore it was a little different, and I think that with Mike it's going to be a little more of an emphasis, I would imagine, of being a more physical team and a little bit of what their nature they've been better at probably. You know, when they were really dominant, that was who they were known as. You don't have Ezekiel Elliott anymore, but can they still be that style of football and really learn how to, I think when they're playing the Eagles, it can't always be an offensive shootout. They got to play defense, and they got to be able to control the ball some too.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.